What's up, everybody? Monkeypuzzle here, and I am back on the IronMine Vanilla PVE server. Today, I wanted to play with making some tree houses using those new platforms from the update, from the 2.4.3 update with the Redwood biomes and everything else. So, the first thing I wanted to do before we get started is something I think a lot of people may need to do with this. If you're like me, I am level 92, so relatively high level, and I only have 20 engram points left, and I am almost at my next level, but this has taken forever. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to take this mind wipe tonic, and I figure that's going to be a lot of people's first step with this new update. And oh my god, I forgot what I'm saying. What am I doing? Who am I? Just kidding. I think I know what I'm doing. So I got all my levels back up. I'm back up to level 92 again. So let's now learn those engrams together. So we want to learn the tree platform. So that was available at level 30, I believe. So let's go ahead and learn that. So, I have to learn all these first. So let me get those real quick. I'll be right back. All right. I am now up to a point where we can learn the wooden tree platform. There it is. And then also, just cause, let's go ahead and learn the tree sap tap. I need cementing paste. Okay, there's that. And then the other thing I wanted to learn with you all real quick is just the hanging ladder. The rope ladder. Okay, so that just takes 5. Alright, now that I've learned those, I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of the prep work. I'm going to scout out a good location for a treehouse. I'm going to get the materials together to do it, and I will meet you when we are ready to go.
I missed.
Well, you're almost up there. My buddy AaronB came on to help. So the first thing what we're going to do is make the platforms in the smithy here. So we went ahead and we got most of the stuff. We're trying to make 3 of them. We're just lacking 300 wood for the third because it won't fit in here. But with no further ado, let's go ahead and make them. So there's 2. And these are the materials it takes. Each 1600 wood, 200 metal ingots, 600 cementing paste, 600 fiber. Very expensive, but I'm not too bad with that because I think, you're making multiple building parts with each of these. It's one building part, but it's as big as quite a few building parts, so I'm going to be okay with that.
The metal one is even more expensive.
Yeah, and I didn't...
As you would imagine.
Right. And we're not learning the metal one because we're not set to PVE here, but we practice PVE.
that's what you think. I'm standing behind you with a pike.
Ah! Well, one thing I should say is that they weigh 90 each. 90 of whatever unit we're talking about here in this game.
And does anybody know if there's a bug with the beaver not working as a smithy anymore?
Right, we tried to make this on the beaver, and we couldn't see any folders for crafting on it. So that might be something in the game in this patch. Anyway, we're assembling a little road crew that's going to go out with our utility dinos, and we're going to meet you over there at the spot that we want to build the tree houses on. As soon as we get these crew loaded up with all the rest of the materials and building parts. See you there. Alright, Aaron and I made 1 billion building parts, and they're all loaded up on our little wagon train here. Got the Spino and some sabers up there, and we got plenty of utility and plenty of muscle, so we'll meet you there and start building. Okay, the wagon train has reached the redwoods without incident, and right here, very close to my base, are the 2 trees that I have chosen to work on. That one there, and this one right here. So we're going to put some platforms on them in just a second. Alright, well, we finally get into the meat of this episode that you've been waiting for. So these are the two trees that I wanted to use. They're nice adjacency to each other. And the news I found out so far is that there's only 2 snap points per tree. There's this lower one, which is very low, this higher one, which is okay, and then there's no snap point up in the branches. I actually went up there higher with the Quetzal and could not find any snap point. So I'm a little disappointed. I thought you'd be able to slide these up and down the trees. I'm not sure why you can't. But anyway, we're going to go for that one. Right there, there it is placed. It's very good looking. So no complaints about the modeling. That's very nice indeed. And then I threw the other 2 on here. Let's go ahead and put them all on right now. And then I'm going to spend a good long while. Oh, you can. Looks like there was a little rotation option there. You can spin them around a little bit.
From here, it looks like once you place the second one, you're going to be able to jump across the gap.
Pretty much. They're pretty close. Let's see. Can I see the other one enough? I'm trying to get that flat part. Okay, there's no rotation from this angle, but I'm just trying to see if I can get those 2 flat edges aligned with each other. So you do have a little bit of rotation option on these. I'd say that's pretty close. There it is. So can we jump from one to another? We'll find out in a second, but we're going to just go ahead and place this lower one down there. So we've got 3 platforms on the tree. And definitely jump onto this one. And I think that gap might be a little far.
It probably is.
For a jump. But I can get onto my Quetzal. We're hopping along the trees here. Can you land the Quetzal on him?
Yes.
Confirmed. Alright. Well, this might kill me, y'all, but let's try this. Oh, yeah.
Ooh, yeah. That was excellent.
Alright, y'all. We're going to figure out how to build on these. May take a while, but I'll bring you back when I know what I'm doing. Alright, well, it's the next day, and we have learned a few things. So the first thing is that the very edge of these platforms is a little bit more than 3 building pieces long. So if you come back this far, like I have with these fence foundations, this is how far you have to go back if you want to line 3 pieces up perfectly along the edge. You could put maybe, you know, windows and doors here, and you could come out and have a little walkway. I found one little trick for finding this spot right here is that if you line a fence foundation up with this little piece of wood right there, then and put the corner of it in the middle of this piece, it pretty much gets you right on. And the way I did that is I just got a fence foundation like this. I lined it up with these pieces of wood to get it straight, and then I went over here and put it in the right place. Of course, it's not going to work right now because the other one's there, but you can get the point. So that's a little trick. If this is the way that you want to start, there's a lot of different options. There's no snap points on the platform. It's completely freeform, so it's just what you want to do with it. Next thing I played with was putting foundations on here. I saw a toot by a guy named Tagback TV, a small channel that did one of the first tutorials on doing this, and I learned some from that. Basically, this is as far back as you can go with the foundations and still be able to put a wall here, and the walls linking up pretty well right in the corners of each other. So you could go around all the way around the tree like that. If you wanted walls back here, I actually would prefer to see the tree. And then I got them placed just right so you can then have 3 foundations across here. And I was trying, my main goal in doing this is I'm trying to figure out how far out I can go. I wanted to extend out the max of 2 pieces out all the way around. Problem is, if you do it this way, you have these gaps in between. I tried to fill them in, but I'm really not too happy about how it works out, because over here, of course, these won't place because you're basically 3 away from the foundation. and you'd need to cover all the rest of this with ceilings. Ceilings aren't placing here for me for some reason. Usually I'm able to do that, but it's not working. It just wants to keep going on that angle. Anyway, and what I don't like about this method too is you cover over this nice floor that you already have. But if you want to do it this way, I'll show you the trick real quick. Let's get rid of this. You have to get rid of these first two foundations right here. Otherwise, if you try to place this, it's only going to snap to those other ones. So it takes actually getting rid of two of them to make it work. So you got to get rid of that one, and you get rid of that one right there. Oh, now I'm too heavy. Let me make a couple foundations so I can move. So the way you do it this way, if you want to work with the foundations this way, is you use this little piece of wood right here, and you get it lined up as best you can. Now, if you come a little too far forward, you're not going to be able to put a foundation at the very end. So I found you got to just scooch it in just a little bit past that line. That might do it. A little bit more is a little safer. So right there, and then you can check it, and you can definitely still place the wall there. It's going to vary, I think, depending on the thickness of your particular tree, but then you can come out with the foundations. And if I did it right, let's see, should be able to place one there. And then the real critical thing is if you can still place one there and there, just an inch more forward, and I wouldn't have been able to place either this one and definitely not these right here. So that's another potential method you could use for building on here. What I settled with, you can see I've got it working over here. I've got it going on in stages, so I can show you, and we'll do a piece of it here. Is I'm basically using fence foundations and pillars to get across. So rather than show you all this, let me show you how I'm doing it over here. So basically, let me grab a fence foundation. This part's a little bit scary, but you have to get out right on the edge here and get it in the middle. I haven't fallen this way yet, but of course I say that now, and that's going to be the guarantee that it happens. So get it nice and straight, and then I change to the orbital view here, and see that little triangle on the end there? This little, here, I'll use the end of this thing to point. This little triangle right here is the thing that I use to help me place this. So basically, if I extend about halfway in to the edge of that triangle, about there, it's about right. And it's hard to do it exact, but it works out okay if it's not completely exact, because you get a little bit of play. I'm just adjusting a little bit like that. Oh, all right. Okay, there. Now with that in place, I can go ahead and get that snap there and that snap there. Now you see I got it about right. I guess I should have come over this way a little bit, so it's not quite halfway on this triangle, but it's alright. None of these are perfect, but you can see that this is slightly longer than 3 pieces, which is a little maddening. Not going to complain about that. And I should have grabbed some pillars, so let me just grab those real quick here. And I'm getting pretty heavy too. I think I can offload these foundations and this wood. So let me just grab some pillars here and put them, sorry, I tried to be super prepared here, put them where the foundations were. So these, you can go ahead, they'll snap onto the ends, the end points of the fence foundations, like that. So you want to make sure they snap to the fence foundations and not to any other pillars that you have on here. And then we can go ahead and build them up like that. So I'm just doing 2 high. I could have done any number high, of course. And you can see with my little ceiling stuff going on here, you have to make sure that there's no ceiling above this one or it won't place right. So I'm building up like that, and then from the pillars now and the fence foundations, the combination, I'm going to get some amount of foundation support going on. Okay, just waited until daylight again. It's important to note that you need to place the pillars before you place any walls, because if you place the walls first, the pillars won't place, but the walls will place after the pillars. So I'm going to start with a door frame here. I'm going to turn it around so we're on the inside, and then go ahead and do another one of those like that. So then what I do next is I take a ceiling off the top of here and extend it out. Now generally from foundations you can go 2. Well, fence foundations won't work just for ceilings. You have to have the pillars too, but it only lets you go out 1. If I get out here, you can see the next one is pink, so that only lets me go out 1, but that's okay. We're going to work with that. So I'm going to switch to window walls here because they're cheap, and you need to go down 3 because I want to then place a ceiling coming in like this, and if I only went down 2, the ceiling wouldn't place. So go ahead and do that. Now I don't need the rest of this anymore. I can go ahead and delete this window wall, and this one too, and this one too. And then that remains, and that remains, and then from here I can go out this way, and this, oh, that one didn't place. Now that's weird. That happens sometimes. I'm not sure what does that. I think it's something messed up with the pillars when that happens. It only happens occasionally. Let's see if it works with the wall there. It doesn't. So I'm not sure exactly how to troubleshoot that when it happens. What I am going to do is delete these pillars, and I'll have to delete this wall now too to be able to put the pillars back, and see maybe something went wrong with my placement of the pillars and didn't actually snap to the foundation or something like that. That's definitely a snap. See, there it would be snapping from that pillar, right? We don't want that. We want it snapping to the foundation. And that's my best guess what that is about. That didn't fix it. So I found when this happens, if I take the whole thing apart, generally it works the next time I put it back together. It's unfortunate, but that's how it goes sometimes. Be right back. So when I deleted this pillar, that one got deleted too. So it's something to do with a bug with pillars in the new patch that happens sometimes. So what I'm going to do to try to fix it is I'm going to place this pillar first. Then I know at least it's not snapping off this one and not dependent on it at all. If I place another one here, there's no way for me to know that. So I'm going to go ahead and see if that works. And now that works. So that's the best workaround I can tell you for that. So back to our regular program here. We can go ahead. We already got those in place. I can go ahead and just put my structure back in place like this. No, that's not what I want. Now I can either be snapping off that ceiling or off the fence foundation. So it gets even more complicated. But that's okay. I've been figuring this out in this episode. I'm also going to make a much briefer tutorial of this later on, now that I know what I'm doing, sort of. So this is the longer one, and then we'll do a briefer one later for all those folks on Reddit who don't like very long tutorials. Anyway, flip that around, and then there we go. Okay, yeah, we did lose our ceiling up here. So I don't really need this one at this point, but just for consistency, I'm going to put it up here. Because then what I've been doing next is in order to get as far out as possible, I've been snapping off of these pillars. So let me get up here like this. And you can see I've got a whole second story going up here too, which I'll talk about in a second. So now that I've put this one together, I can go ahead and finish this piece on this one. And basically I'm snapping on top of these pillars, picking the point where the pillar does not protrude through. And it's right above these ceilings right here. And so then we can extend off of that, bring it over here, get that one in there, and fairly seamless. You know how circular, sort of semicircular structures work in ARK, but that's a little gap that I can live with. When you put the railings on there, you can stand here, you don't fall through, so I'm okay with that. And just go ahead and fill the rest of this in. Now remember, don't place this last one or you won't be able to place the pillar on the very next one. So I'm going to go ahead and do that all the way around, but let me just show you real quick what I'm doing on the upper story as well. Basically, here I can do it with you a little bit. I'm going to need some more ceilings, and then I will have shown you pretty much all the mechanics to this, and then I'm just going to go ahead and finish building the thing. So let me grab those. And what I'm doing is I'm just going ahead and I'm bringing this in. Now here you can see I can't go any further. That's as far as I can get with that. So to go further, I have to use a pillar. And what I'm doing to be consistent is I'm taking the pillar off of this left side right here. And I do this. I put a pillar there that's got the ugly protrusion going on there, and then go with from there. Now I can go ahead and use that to extend out. Now once I get to here, I can put another pillar going down. Now what I do is my little trick in order to get this down here. I do the thing where you pull down, pull down like that, and you grab that and then put the one underneath. Now normally if we weren't in this buggy patch, you would be able to delete this one and the other one under it. This one would have remained, but for some reason this patch has really messed up pillars, so I gotta use extra pieces here, and this is just all about me not liking the pillars poking through. But since I placed this one correctly for this method, I can place that there now, and then I can place this, and it's real nice with the pillars not poking through. Actually, I didn't place it correctly because it's not lined up with that ceiling. I gotta make sure that I pick that higher point, and it's actually easier to grab from up here because it's sort of directional where you're standing, and when you're standing on the higher point, it's easier to get the higher snap point, and that's not what I wanted either. You can see there's a lot of frustrations building an ARK. It makes it as hard as possible for you. You can see I had that placed right. Getting as close as possible can often help it clicking onto something else. But anyway, now that that's there, I can get rid of this, and I can get rid of this, and I can go ahead and use this support now to fill all these ceilings in here, and fill in the diagonal ones as well, and just bringing that all the way back to the tree. I'm going to keep doing that. And then the last little bit is, in order to have a ceiling up here, I want to have a nice slope ceiling so the thing looks good from the outside. They need some support. Each set of them on each vertical tier needs at least one of these sloped walls. So to do that, I got to have walls going this way. So I'm using doors to do that, so it doesn't totally section off each of these little pie pieces here. And I'm going to bring them all the way back to the edge. I might flatten out the roof at some point, but probably not. I'll probably try to make it sloped all the way up to there. And that's the main trick, just using the doors with the sloped wooden walls on top. One last little finicky bit I want to show you, though, that's important is that when these sloped ceilings overlap, there's an order you have to place them in. If you place the left one first, the right one won't place. So you have to place the right one first and then the left one. So as I build this, I'm going to go around that way, and that's going to make it work. Let me demonstrate that. So if I delete the right one, say I place the left one first, and I go ahead and try to place that one. See, it will not place. But, oh, my inventory is too heavy to jump. Let me make a few of those. Okay, I made a few and I'm unburdened now. Now if I delete this one, and I place the right one first, for some reason, you can place the left one. And so that's just a good thing to know to make that work. Eventually you get to a point where they overlap too much and you can't, that trick doesn't work at all. You can see here, even though I have the right one first, the left one won't place. I'm just going to live with that. I decided it doesn't look too bad from the outside, and I'll just keep that consistently overlapping in one direction as I go up, and I think that won't be too bad. Anyway, I think that's all the finicky stuff to show you. That's how I'm building this. I did manage to succeed in getting at least 1.5 building pieces out without too many gaps in it. Pretty happy with this. Fairly functional, so I'm going to go ahead and finish it and show you what it looks like at the very end. Alright, almost a whole day later from that last little snippet. The thing is almost done, but one more trick I wanted to show you is I'm transitioning from those sloped roofs to the flat ceilings, and there is a little trick to that, because if you try to take these and place them where you want them right here, you can't attach a flat ceiling straight out from a sloped ceiling, but you saw that already. You can place them halfway like that, or you can place them back like that. So you use that as a starting piece, and then from there you can go ahead and take it out the way you want it to go. And you got to sacrifice this piece, but when you do, these other ones stay in place. So once I do this last little bit, I am done with what turned out to be a much more enormous build than I even imagined. So much wood, so many materials in here, so much time and wasted pieces just because of some things like that ARK does, and misclicks and everything else, but turned out great. So I'm going to show you in just a second. And this project has taken so much time that AaronB, in between being enormously helpful, doing tons of harvesting of materials, so many trips of wood on the beavers, he has been taming and breeding a whole army of bears, which is pretty fitting for the Redwood forest indeed. But are you all ready for the big reveal? Alright, here it is. The Redwood Treehouse. I'm pretty happy with it. I think it turned out pretty well. We've got 2 stories on it. Most of it is the design that I showed you before, where we've got the 2-story level down below with the balcony, and then we have the next floor above with the slanted ceilings, and over here we left a piece of the pie, a couple pieces of pie actually, or a piece, yeah, altogether 2 half pieces and the whole piece, to be the hangar. So you can come in here with the Quetzal, no problem, and land. I was going to seal it all up, but we're going to have to take all the materials for the base up the ladder, and that would just be too onerous. But now we got this, enough room for a Quetzal to land comfortably, and then the side areas for Argentavises and Pteranodons have plenty of room too. And the best part is, instead of going all the way up with the slope ceilings, by doing the flat ceilings in the middle, we were able to not take these little section walls all the way to the tree, and now we've got a roundabout inside. So instead of not being able to have Quetzals land here, it is totally Quetzal friendly. And each one of these pieces could have a different theme, could have chests ready or vaults ready to receive stuff. You just go around to the appropriate section and you can just jump off and unload the birds. So that's pretty cool. Got plenty of nice views from all around here. And then let's go down. I'm going to have to color code this at some point so I can remember which section has the ladder down right here. So that's what this section looks like now. And down here, it's a little bit more cramped, just too high. We could have gone 3 high, but it was expensive enough as it was. And it's plenty of room to put chests or whatever you need. So yeah, the defense foundation and the pillar, the whole mechanic of that ended up making it look nice and sturdy around the outside too. So this is where the platform ends. We get this much more space out here with the balcony that goes all the way around. I chose on these little wonky bits where it overlaps to not have the railings because they would just look too weird. The railings actually cannot overlap. And then that above portion goes out 1.5. Some of those could have gone out 2, but not all of them, because these were not totally solid foundations every time. This was a really wonky time in ARK to do a project like this, because pillars are totally broken in a whole bunch of ways right now, but we managed to work around it and make it work. So I think that's pretty nice. And then yeah, just in here, one thing we had to do is, in order to sleep, actually Aaron should be up here. If you don't sleep on an actual foundation, then no, I don't want to do that. I want to let go of you. There you go. If you don't sleep on an actual foundation, your body tends to go through the platform, and you might be hanging halfway down or wake up and fall to your death or whatever. So make sure you put an actual foundation to sleep on. But we still have the nice look of the actual platform here. So there's so many ways to do this. I'm looking forward to seeing how everybody else does it. But I'm pretty happy with this experiment. I learned a lot about using these. So that's it. This is Monkeypuzzle, and this has been my experiment in using these redwood tree platforms. So I hope you like it. Here we go. Come out here and take one last look as we sign off. So I have been Monkeypuzzle. I'm still Monkeypuzzle, and I will continue to be. Thank you for watching till the very end of this episode. And please leave any comments or suggestions, ideas, critiques, whatever, down in the comments and let me know what you think. And if you like it, please like it. All right. See you next time. Bye-bye.